Good afternoon, beautiful people. How's it going today? I'm definitely going to keep it real. I am in the middle of a gluten-free masterclass, and my kid was diagnosed with celiac at the age of 2 years old. And he used to laugh at the time because there wasn't a whole lot known about celiac back then. And so I had did so much research so quickly that I was actually schooling the on-staff dietitian. And we used to laugh and make fun that I was going to send her a bill for my time. But sadly, somehow, I stopped doing research on that, and I just went by with the traditional knowledge of just have a gluten-free diet, and you'll be fine. But my kid was never fine. Like, he did get better in the beginning. He stopped at projectile vomiting. He stopped, the other symptoms that he had. But he never thrived. Never thrived. He was always kind of on the pale side, always kind of on the skinny side, kind of always on the exhausted side. Man, and I tried so many things with that kid. And so recently, this class has taught me that the traditional celiac training is absolute bullshit. So the whole just switch your crappy food over to crappy gluten-free food, which is what they do, right? Oh, you can't eat pasta anymore? Well, here, just substitute it for this gluten-free pasta. You'll be fine. First off, the majority of all that prepackaged gluten-free stuff is not gluten-free. It's actually highly cross-contaminated. So there's one. Two, they're finding out that corn and rice have actually got gluten in them themselves. So they are not a gluten-free option. Three, between, all the grains, the way that they are treated with chemicals, left out, mold, they're just such a highly processed, highly inflammatory, highly not good for us food. Where was I going with this last piece? I'm just shocked. And then they never told us to do anything about healing the gut, right? So they just told us to go gluten-free and you'll be fine. And that's absolute bullshit. And I'm just curious as to how many other people out there have suffered. I had just posted the top 9 reasons why a gluten-free diet fails from Dr. Tom Osborne. He's the one that I'm doing the gluten-free class with right now, and it's absolutely amazing. So if you've been diagnosed celiac, or if you were tested for celiac and came up negative and your doctor told you it was fine to eat gluten, I highly suggest you get a different type of test done, because there's a very large population, part of the population that is not celiac, that is non-celiac, gluten-free, gluten sensitive. So like for myself even, there was like 3 different parts of the wheat itself that I was reacting to, not just the gluten. So if you're curious to learn more about that type of testing and to dive in further to see if the reason you can't get better, if the reason you can't lose weight, if the reason your brain doesn't work properly, your hormones are out of whack, your gut hurts, you're constipated, you have diarrhea, it's quite possibly related to these issues with grains and especially wheat and gluten. So give me a holla. I'd love to talk with you about it more. It's definitely something we just have to go back to the basics. We can't keep eating processed food. If your great-great-great-grandparents didn't eat it, you probably shouldn't either. If you can't pronounce what an ingredient is, you definitely shouldn't be eating it. And I loved what he said, that you cannot build health on top of unhealthy food. So as long as you're eating poorly, you're not going to get better. Sadly. You might feel a little bit better for a little bit with whatever supplement or fad thingy that you're doing at the time, but it won't last long. You won't have longevity. Stay tuned.